Hello friends, this is Nima. Today we're going to make a card for Craft Roulette episode 251, and the parameters that we have are project, slimline card. I think I'm going to do like a mini slimline. The colors are lumberjack colors, and it needs to have a hat, that's so element, and as a random lace or doily. Now I think this is a good opportunity to make a masculine card, and that's what I'm going to do in here. I found this stamp that it is a horse with a cowboy, and that will help with the theme. In the element hat, he has a hat, so that will cover that. And I already stamped my my image using VersaFine Clear and pine cone, and I'm gonna add a little bit of colors, and for that I'm using some of my pencils, distress pencils. So I have a little bit of water, and I have this plastic in here that I use in here for as a palette. I'm just gonna add a little bit of color only. For his pants, I have 2 tones of blue in here. I have faded jeans and price ribbon. Now I'm using, this is not watercolor, so I'm using the 80 pounds. I have to look to check. So I'm using the 80 pounds. So I'm going to go really fast. I'm not going to add too much water. And then if anything, I add another layer as I need them, so I don't get the paper, the cardstock, too wet. So I'm going to go now with the darker one to add some accents in here, and that will help with the shadows. So I'm adding a little bit of darker blue in here. It looks like he has his hand in a pocket. So I'm going to let this dry, continue now with the shirt, and then I'll come back, and if I need to add a little more color, I will do so. For the shirt, since I'm going with those lumberjack colors, I'm adding this crackling campfire. Oops, that's too much water. And I have a napkins in here, supposed to rinse. Right. Barn door will help in here, and if I need to add some kind of additional shade, I can always use I have in here a vintage photo, so I can use that one as well, or even the black. Let me go back with the faded jeans. I'll mix it a little bit with the price ribbon blue in here. It's just for the, I guess he has like maybe in the neck. I totally forgot. That's okay. For the skin, I'm not gonna go too much into details in here. This is gonna be a very easy painting. But I do have this tater rose, and I'm just gonna put a little bit in here on my plastic in here, so I can use it as a for the skin, for the face. And again, it's just to give it a little bit of color. I'm not gonna go too much into details in here, and a little bit on the hand. So for the hat, I'm using Vintage Photo. It has that kind of like leather type of look, though I do have others in here. Right, so ground espresso. I don't think I have the pen, the crayon maybe somewhere, but I can just tap something a little bit in here so I can make it a little darker, a little bit of a shadow in here. So that's the hat, and obviously the boots. We go on that. For the horse, I'm going really simple. I'm gonna use brown on the chair in here, and just a little lighter in that one because that's kind of the layer on the bottom. All right. And it just to give you the idea that that's we have there the chair, and I'm using black on some details, and not too much, just like I said, a little bit. And we have some in here. My horse, I want my horse to be maybe light brown, beige or something like that, or even white. Yeah, why not? So to do it white, I'm not gonna let's see what other colors I have in here. Okay, I'm gonna use like some shades, blue and purple. Why not? That's too strong. And that will be the, oh yeah, I do have this color that I like, hickory smoke, and then speckled eggs. And that's for creating some shadow on the horse. I'm pulling the color in here. Mixing them a little bit, and then adding some shade in here. Do a little more blue. All right. Then a little bit of a shadow in here. The legs, the back legs. Under the chair. And I'm mixing a little bit with the blue, just to make it a more interesting tone. I think that should be enough, not too much for the horse. Well, maybe, yeah, the tail. Let's give it some color in there. And I'm going with this gray. Let's clean this. Okay. And then the brown, and I'm just gonna do some strokes in here that simulate the hair. All right, and then the tail. Get a little more color in here. All right. Just some finishing touches in here with the cowboy, the jeans. I want to give it a little bit of a shadow in here. Okay. So I'm going to let this dry a little bit, and I'm going to put together the rest of the card. So when I mount the other part of the card, then this should be ready. So let's put this aside. So what do I have so far? So I know that I'm doing the slimline card, and I'm using some of those colors on the cowboy. Oh, something else that I just look at the picture and I forgot my ground. Yeah, let's add a little bit of a green in there, because otherwise it feels like it's floating, no? So let's see which color I'm using in here. Peel paint. And at this time I added more water. I intentionally want the color to be a little lighter. So while my picture dries, I'm gonna work with the backgrounds, and I have this color, and I'm gonna use a stencil in here, lace stencil, to create a the lace. And for that I'm using lumberjack plate. That's a distress ink, and I just want to do it on the border because this is going to be the background, and I want to create that lace print in here, so I give it the impression of the lace. So that's gonna be my lace parameter. And I'm using from my stencil just the small flowers. I don't want to go with something too big, because actually I'm only using this on the borders, so it's not gonna show everywhere, only the border. So I need something small, and I don't need to cover the entire card. Let's cover this part in here. I don't want to make it look too girly, but a little bit of a lace, just like that, is gonna be on the background. It will show a little, but it will create some texture in here, right? Now my other paper that I'm using is this one, just to bring some of the earth colors in. So through here, I mean, You can see the lace in the background. And then the picture will be on top. I'm going to add a little bit of distress oxide just on the borders. Maybe even with this one, that this is distress ink, but just to give it a little bit of accent on this border. Okay. And I'm going to do the same with this one using a different color. I'm going to use ground espresso. I just have it in there. That's why I'm using that one. And that way, if there's any little bit of a white thing, it covers the cuts. And it gives it some dimension and interest to the paper. Okay. All right, I like that. And my image will be in here. But now my image looks really, really white. Well, I can use also distress oxide just to and take this a little bit. However, I don't want to use the ground espresso because it's too dark. Let's try with that. That's the brush corduroy. Maybe it's a little too yellow here. Well, I'm going with my favorite in here, the vintage photo. Let's clean this one. Yeah. And I'm going to go very, very softly on top of everything. Just so it looks a little more like rustic, not that white. Perfect. I think I like it. Yes. All right, so we're ready to put this card together. Let me zoom this in here. Let me clean my desk and I'll be back to put this card together. So I'm ready to put this card together. I'm doing a mini slimline, and the size that I use for this one is, let's see, it's like 3.5 by 6. And here I have the one with the lace, and that's gonna go on top. By the way, I added a little bit, just a little bit of the vintage photo around, just to I mean, I didn't want to use beige. Actually, I didn't have beige. I don't have beige. But also because I did the same on this one, then it's gonna kind of blend in here, match a little bit. I cut this one slightly smaller just to create a border around. So if I wouldn't done that, then that border will be way too white. Just a little border around. Oops, way too much to that side. And I had it right. And I just shifted a little. Okay. All right. Now, I got a little bit of green in here, but that's okay because it will be covered. Now this one will go right on top. And it shows a little bit of the lace in there. And then for this one, I want to bring it up a little bit, not too much, just enough that it creates a dimension, but I don't want to use like foam tape because that will be like too much. So I added a piece of the 120. This is 120 pounds, so oops. And in that way, it creates, it lifts a little bit, and it creates a dimension, but it doesn't create a big dimension in there. So if you want, you can add another one, or you can use foam tape. I just didn't want to use foam tape for this one. And for the messages, I have two options in here. I have hello friends. Kind of like it, but not too much. It blends too much. But I was looking into in my drawers, and I found these messages in here. And I found this one, follow your heart. And I think it will go perfect in there. The color is not exactly the same, but it matches really well. And it's kind of a good message for a friend. So that one, I want to pop that one up. I want to put some foam tape in here. This foam tape is almost, I think it is exactly the same size. Yes, it is. Okay. So I'm just gonna put it in here. I work backward. Yes, I know. Let's cut this one. Put this away. Well, I have to fix this. Let's hurry up and fix this one. Okay. I don't want the tape to, the foam to show, because it's exactly the same size. I have to make sure that I do it right. All right, so okay, so this is it. Follow your heart. No, let me just cover this a little bit. Same thing. Is the border is too white. I put a piece of cardstock in there. Because this is just paper. And I'm gonna put it that it comes out of the picture frame, but not outside of the second layer. All right. So let's check the parameters to see if we have everything. We have the mini slimline project, lumberjack colors everywhere, including the color that I use for the lace, that it is the lumberjack plate. The hat, he's wearing a hat. And then I use that stencil to give it the the texture, and that stencil is a lace stencil. Right, so this is my card, my Craft Roulette card, and I also want to invite you to watch the show every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but also special invitation for my my show. Well, it's her show. It's Craft Roulette show, where I'm gonna be the guest, and that's gonna be on February 7, 2025. So don't forget, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and come and join us every Friday. We'll give you the parameters, and you just have to participate, make a card, upload it, and you'll be also participating to win some prizes.